Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is going to be between G5 and Lzgamer. We have Lzgamer starting at the 6 o'clock position as the red zerg, 12 o'clock position we have G5 as the teal protoss. And this will be on Destination, which I mentioned in the last map, Blue Storm. It's kind of the new potpourri map that everybody really likes playing. It's kind of Neo-Python, people have been calling it, which in Python, of course, Neo-Lost Temple. It's the map that everybody's played a ton and everybody really enjoys playing on. I think it tends to favor Zerg players a little bit because you can sneak in Zerglings along this lane right here, even with a good cannon blockade. It's just pretty wide open. Beyond that, Protoss movement into the mid-game is difficult with these bridges. And past that, yeah, it's hard to secure a third as a Protoss player, and really the 4 or 5 hatch play that Zerg have been employing has been really, really strong on this map altogether. Lurker contains, Mutalisk harasses. We'll see what G5 can pull off. He did a really, really good job in that first map on Blue Storm, just really pulled out a nice victory, and I think that's a testament to his excellent macro management specifically. Lzgamer tends to play, again, better in micro situations, not as good with his macro management, and going into a long macro management game, it just favored G5 in the mid-game and beyond. You could see, specifically on the upgrades, I think that was a key portion there, where Lzgamer had an opportunity with the upgrades. He was ahead at certain points, but then fell behind ultimately, and G5 really exploited some nice map positioning altogether. Didn't let Lzgamer isolate him out of the bases, and didn't let specifically heads up knowing that drop was coming, just completely shut that down. It looks like G5 going to come in, see that overpool, spawning pool being placed, going to steal a little bit of minerals on his way just to be annoying. He's already set up for a fast expansion. He has that forge a little further back than I'm used to seeing it, and I'm kind of curious how he's going to do this front door. It seems like he always constructs his own unique front door kind of builds here. Oftentimes what you'll see is the forge in a little bit more of a forward position in that gateway alongside the block right there. He's playing this really far back. I guess he's worried a bit about a Zergling run by coming out to the secondary to try to deny that expansion. Once again, Lzgamer just going to skip it altogether and go to that 9 o'clock expansion. Let's see if that's an indicator that he is in fact going to go for another early big macro game. And it looks like off the bat, holding back. Okay, no, he actually is producing the Zerglings now for second there. Just waiting for that third larva to build them all at once, it seems. And placing the cannons kind of at a back position. This is kind of an interesting front door. I'm kind of curious how it'll work out. That does block Zerglings from coming along the exterior wall, but at the same time it limits movement coming out of the secondary. Let's see if that plays a big factor later on. You can really end up with a big clustering problem if you have troops just kind of stationed out here. Especially, I feel like this would be pretty vulnerable to Hydralisks attacking, specifically trying to pick off the Nexus with range, because they can come in here, they wouldn't really be affected by the cannons, they can get positioning over to the right and attack the Nexus, but I guess the cannons really don't cover there as it is. So we'll see how this works out for him. Definitely an atypical front door construction. I don't think I've seen that construction ever before. G5 just kind of wandering around. Doesn't look like his probe's taken much damage at all. In fact, that might have just been involved in an SCV fight. And it looks like Lzgamer is going to go for another quick economic build. Taking his third hatchery and once again delaying that gas. Okay, actually no, putting the gas down this time, so it looks like he is going to transition into what a more standard build rather than going for the big economy build that we saw last match. Has the Overlord kind of camping outside. Fortunately for him, he did go for he did force G5 to put down the 2 additional cannons rather than going Nexus first. G5, usually you can sneak a gateway and a Nexus, but G5 I guess feels confident going into the mid game that he'll once again be able to kind of out macro Lzgamer throughout the late game, and it looks like LZ just kind of scooting around the field, wanting to make sure that he's not getting having anything quick pulled on him, wants to make sure he's not running any proxy gateways or things like that. G5 actually also looking for this probe that might be kind of hidden out in the field, so he can come around and kill this probe scout. Scouting very important on this map too, and I think this actually might be an indication too that Lzgamer's thinking about doing maybe 3 hatch Hydra, maybe putting on some early pressure. It's definitely a map that can favor that style of play, particularly with G5's front door. The way it's looking now, Hydralisks can come across this bridge without a cannon hitting them at all, and really come in position and wreak a lot of havoc here. So one probe switching out, the other probe actually coming in. Looks like a quick tech to layer instead. So I think what we're going to see here is a 3 hatch Mutalisk build. Instead, the second gas not quite taken. Looks like that first probe going to come to home base safely. That second probe already in the mix and checking out absolutely everything. G5 has all the information he could really want. Looks like he's already got that cybernetics core spinning. And let's see if he goes for that DT opening once again. It's kind of a pseudo Bisu build, getting that first Corsair, getting that Tart Templar. He's not really comfortable. I've heard him say in the past that he hates going into a pure Bisu build because he doesn't like babysitting his Corsairs. He has difficulty keeping track of them throughout the field. and as a result, he can suffer here. And what I'm curious to see is if we're going to see Lzgamer do what I feel is like one of the most powerful builds for Zerg versus Protoss lately, is the 4-hatch transition into Muta, which is you get your Spire down, you place that 4th hatchery, and then from there, basically, you produce the first 2 Scourge to kill that Corsair. Just puts your opponent in the dark, and you end up in a generally good position, I think. Looks like already a couple pylons alongside. That's actually the other advantage of this cannon along that back wall, is it provides some additional defense against the Mutalisk Harass later on. Looks like G5 now taking his 2nd gas, and probably that's a pretty good indicator he is going to transfer into a Dark Templar with some Corsair, well, at least a Corsair to support here, showing at least something of a Bisu build right here. Now checking out the 9 o'clock mineral expansion, maybe giving an indicator to Lzgamer. He might actually push out with these Zealots. Looks like he is doing so. Excellent. I love it when I feel like I'm smart as a commentator. Going to send out those Zealots after seeing that scout, and maybe try to get a drone kill or 2 after cleaning these Zerglings out. Here at the 9 o'clock, at the very least, try to force Lzgamer to put down a Sunken Colony. It looks like Lzgamer actually going to put down that additional hatchery at that location while his Spire is about halfway complete. He's going to have to put down a Sunken Colony to deal with these Zealots actually running up the field. And switching to, actually, it looks like 5 hatcheries in play here. Actually switching locations here. Lzgamer going for what looks like 5 hatch Mutalisk off the bat, and he really doesn't have any defense. This Evolution Shaver coming down, but doesn't have enough Zerglings to fight these Zealots back. He doesn't have a Sunken Colony anywhere nearby, so it looks like he's going to try to fight this off with just pure Zergling in between here, and I don't know that he has enough Zerglings really to accomplish that. Nice maneuver by G5, backing up on that ramp to limit the Zerglings' movement, so he would basically be able to take a superior amount. He's going to end up with some beautiful micro there, having 2 Zealots with just a sliver of health, and that's a very rare thing you'll see, is Lzgamer kind of getting out microed there in the field, and he's going to be able to, let's see if he gets the benefit of a drone kill. He does manage to get a drone kill for his Zealots, but still, I would say that's a pretty big success, forcing Lzgamer to produce a lot more Zerglings than he really wanted to. Really wanted to pump economy instead. There's the 2 Scourge already out in the field, but then that Corsair already out in the mix. And let's see how long G5 can keep this Corsair out in the mix as well. He really needs to keep it alive to provide that additional scouting. Looks like some Zerglings kind of flooding up that right-hand side, both for scouting purposes. Might be thinking about opening up that back lane as well. Weapons 1 on the way. There's that first Dark Templar, and we are seeing a 2nd Corsair being produced by G5 this time. So it looks like he's already got 3 Corsairs on out in the field. So he's going to be a little bit more Corsair heavy. Let's see if Lzgamer is going to be able to respond in time and knock it down with the Corsairs right off the bat. And he needs to do that if G5 is, one right away. And he's going to need to do that, really, if G5 persists with this Corsair build. And it looks like the Corsair is going to be able to run in here with this Dark Templar. Not a lot of defenses. I don't see any Hydralisks out at this position. I don't even know if there's a Hydralisk actually. I don't see a Hydralisk den out in play here. Mutalisks coming up to try to defend, and it looks like they are going to be able to ward those Corsairs back. Otherwise, the Dark Templar are going to have to hold up. Got detection there. He has Sunken Colonies there. Can't really press in and get the damage done. A lot of cannons going down at G5 secondary. He's really worried about the Mutalisk attack at this stage. He's going to have to get some Archons up before you can really press out and do anything. Getting that range upgrade for the Dragoons as well, because what it's going to come down to is just having superior Corsair force, some Archons in the mix before you can push out and take his 3rd. And Lzgamer's in a great position to attack any army that pushes out in the near future. That's why he's kind of staking out these expansions with these Zerglings, looking for probes headed out that direction so he can just crash down on it as quickly as possible. Looks like that Dark Templar did run in, managed to get 2 kills. I assume Zerglings, maybe drones, I'm not sure, but running in, getting a couple kills before taking some damage and pulling back out. I don't think he's going to make any more attempts on the field. Really, G5 can't expend any more Corsairs, can't really have them exposed out in the field, especially with a lot of Mutalisks that are going to be coming at him here in the very near future. 2 Dragoons produced out in the field, and the Dragoons plus the Corsairs should be able to fight this back. A pretty solid unit combination. Let's see how Lzgamer plays it from this stage. Looks like he was able to pick off 1 Dragoon before pulling back. He's actually pulling back away from 2 Corsairs instead of engaging here. I think he actually could engage, and it might be beneficial here. Okay, it looks like he is going to turn around and engage. Nice Psystorm from G5 from the corner, though, which is absolutely devastating early. Oh, man, that's a lot of gas. It's really going to make all these Mutalisks completely weak, and that's a big boon for G5 here in the mid-game. That's going to open up a lot of stuff. He could move some units out here to the 9 o'clock, knowing that those Mutalisks are somewhat weakened. Looks like we do have a Hydralisk den out and some more troops being produced. That puts a lot more pressure on Lzgamer to kind of push out in the field. He's not getting the scouting information he might have wanted. He's not getting kind of that harass he was looking for. Let's see how he responds. It looks like he's gathering up a lot of Hydralisks to maybe push up an attack. Looks like G5, yeah, with that troop problem on the front door, just going to solve it by destroying that cannon out in the field. Still hasn't moved morphed an Archon. Really hasn't needed to now, though, at this point with all those weak Mulisks out there. Losing his 2 Corsairs at the 9 o'clock position, though.